Surviving a crisis. This morning, tough rescue. The tight spot a young boy found himself in and the lengths firefighters had to go to pull him to safety.
Then, how New Mexico stands when it comes to keeping you safe during a health emergency.
And shots fired. An overnight shooting sends a man to the hospital. What we know so far in moments. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Adam Atchison.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Krista Gutierrez. Happy Monday to you, the beginning of another work week. And we are talking about changes heading our way weather-wise.
And we sure are, including some incredible video. You drove right through all this. People are still talking about wild weather in northern New Mexico. News 13 viewers are helping us tell the story. This is the view of hail from Santa Fe yesterday. One viewer showed us just how large some of those hailstones were, quarter-sized. Martha Morris sent us a look at the hail on her deck in Pecos. Alcalde also got hit hard, as you can see in this picture. Almost looks like snow coming.
It sure does look like snow. What happened to spring? Our viewer Cynthia Hale in Santa Fe shared this one on our KRQE Facebook page. Her daughter recorded video of the roads near Cerrillos quickly flooding over, making for a wet and very slippery drive. Big question today is what can we expect for today and the rest of the work week? Kristen Curry is tracking all that. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. We still have some showers and thunderstorms possible up to the north, just not as many for today until tomorrow, and that's when things really start to ramp up across the entire state. Wanted to start though with a live look outside. A gorgeous start to our Monday with the sun coming up. 56 degrees is where we're at now with those southerly winds about 6 miles per hour. I do expect though the winds to pick up today about 10 to 20 miles per hour out of the west. So more wind to start the week and cooler temps too. We are cooler across the western side of New Mexico this morning with more of us in the 40s and 50s. We have 50s and 60s out across eastern New Mexico this morning, but as we get into the later part of today, we'll top out in those mid 70s underneath that mostly to partly sunny sky. I would say majority of those showers are going to stay to the north of us here in Albuquerque with only a stray storm possible here in the metro. Only thing you have to worry about today when it comes to the allergy report, those channel pods, everything else is down to low. But I'll tell you, our rain chances and even the possibility of thunderstorms is starting to grow both tomorrow and Wednesday, and our temperatures are going down. Details in your full forecast coming up here in about 10 minutes.
And we turn now to some breaking overnight news. One man is recovering in the hospital at this time after being shot early this morning.
BCSO detectives are on scene right where that shooting happened in southwest Albuquerque investigating. We're going to turn to News 13's Sarah Yingling now. She's live with the details. Sarah?
Adam, we're on Gun Club Road near Coors where you can see it's still an active scene. Deputies have this block of Gun Club Road from Kirk to what we believe is Carroll shut down. You can also see that we are right next to two neighborhoods, so you can imagine what it's like for people waking up in these neighborhoods this morning. Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies say it happened just down the road where one man was taken to the hospital with at least one gunshot wound to the chest. He is at UNMH right now. We don't know his condition. Detectives from the Violent Crimes Unit have been out here all morning as they continue their investigation. That's still in the very early stages. At this point, they don't have any suspect information or motive. We've been working to gather more information all morning, and we'll bring it to you when we get it. Back to you.
All right, thanks for the latest on that, Sarah. Moving on to some developing news this morning. Prosecutors may have some damaging evidence against the man accused of causing a recent bomb scare in Albuquerque. It forced several businesses to shut down. We checked this morning. That man's still locked up. He appeared in court yesterday. Ryan Perdue is accused of getting into a fight with Penske employees, then telling them he had a bomb in the back of a truck he had rented. In court, Perdue tried to tell the judge about his intentions that day after she asked if he had read the criminal complaint.
This one here? Yeah, I didn't hurt anybody.
The bomb threat prompted APD to evacuate every business on Candelaria from Edith to Pan American. The bomb squad did not find any explosives, though.
It was a bummer just on like the business aspect because we had to be closed for half the day, but I'm really glad they took all the precautions to make sure that everything was safe.
So according to court records, Perdue has been arrested 4 times in the past 3 months. He faces up to a year and a half for the bomb threat charge.
Time 6:04, a silver alert still active this morning for a 70-year-old man who remains missing. Deputies say Joe Lovato was last seen Friday morning near Avenida Cesar Chavez and 3rd Street. He's described as 5 feet 4 inches tall, weighs about 130 pounds. According to BCSO, Lovato has a mental condition and may not know that he's lost.
On to New This Morning. We're still working to find out more about this semi-wreck. Take a look at your TV screens. Got stuck in a tight situation. It happened near Irving and Unser last night just before 11. A News 13 viewer sent in this photo. No word from APD on whether there is an active investigation this morning or if anyone will be charged. PNM is not reporting any power outages as of yet. That's the good news. Still, you may want to avoid this area as crews do head out there to check out that traffic signal.
The investigation into a death in Albuquerque continues today. Officers say they were sent to a parking lot behind the Hotel Cascada at about 2 on Saturday morning. They found a dead man's body there, and APD says it's not certain how he died, but investigators are calling his death suspicious. The victim has not been identified, and police are not saying if they're looking for any possible suspects right now. Time 6:05, and if you've flown recently, you've probably noticed it.
Oh yeah, there's no way to avoid it. TSA checkpoint lines are getting longer and longer. In fact, here's more information on the situation. This morning, U.S. Senator says he has a solution to fix this problem. Nationwide, lines during peak times have topped 90 minutes. In response, Homeland Security and the TSA recently announced that they'll be hiring 800 new security officers. U.S. Senator Chuck Schumer says dogs could be used to check passengers for explosives and other prohibited items. Meanwhile, the TSA is considering limiting the number of carry-ons, asking flyers to join a pre-check. That's an expedited screening program.
Also happening today, the 2016 presidential contenders make a final push for votes ahead of primary contests in Kentucky and Oregon tomorrow. Donald Trump is looking to add to his delegate count in Oregon, but still faces a challenge in getting Republican leaders to unite behind him. Democrat Hillary Clinton is hoping to upset rival Bernie Sanders in both states and turn her full attention to a general election matchup against Trump.
Developing news this morning, newly released study shows New Mexico is above average when compared to other states. This when it comes to health threats. The Robert Wood Johnson Foundation scored each state based on factors including how prepared it is and how well it monitors things like water and air quality. Also, agencies like Homeland Security and Emergency Management and the Health Department support each other in the event of certain large-scale emergencies. Representatives there say they're proud to see New Mexico get the credit it deserves.
I think it's truly exciting for all of us to know that we're finally getting recognized.
So New Mexico scored high in areas like monitoring for health threats and environmental health, but was well below average in how available health care is to the general population. Back in 2014, New Mexico met the national average. The year before that, we were above the average.
You have to take a moment to look at your screens here at the video of a group of firefighters who are being called heroes for their dramatic rescue of a 2-year-old stuck in a well. This happened Friday in northern China. There he is, all the way down there. The boy's grandpa says he was playing near this small well and he fell because the cover was missing. No word on how long he was stuck down in there, but it's about 20 feet down, about 2 feet around, so tight space. Firefighters say they had to tie a rope to the smallest of them. That guy went down in head first, and he was able to grab the boy. Both were pulled out by other firefighters. The boy's doing okay this morning.
Wow.
Yeah, incredible.
Remarkable. Okay, take a look at this. A driver in Canada is without a car this morning after taking an unexpected turn. Police blaming foggy weather and her GPS. The 23-year-old woman says she was following the GPS instructions while driving in the dark late Thursday. She drove down a boat launch. Apparently, she took a wrong turn and plunged right into the little harbor there. The woman was able to roll down her window, get out, and swim to shore. She's safe this morning. The car, meanwhile, completely sank. A tow truck pulled it out the next morning. Except for being cold and wet, she's expected to be okay, but I mean,
guess you can't always trust your GPS.
You can't follow GPS every time.
Especially when it leads you into a harbor and
How
water.
many times have you heard them tell you turn left, turn
Oh,
right?
yeah,
You're
absolutely.
like, what? There's not even a street here.
I just had that happen to me over the weekend. Not into the water, right? But you definitely have to be careful.
Yes.
Be paying attention.
This is going to be bad.
Road rage spills onto the roadway. What one witness says led up to the fight and why he says it wasn't worth it. That's coming up.
Plus, saving energy, the proposal the city council is set to vote on to partially power Albuquerque with the sun.
And you decide how a measure headed to city councilors tonight could give candidates running for office more of your tax dollars to campaign. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to KRQE News 13 this morning. I'm Krista Gutierrez.
And I'm Adam Atchison. Good to have you along. It's Monday, May 16th this morning. We're going to talk weather as we kick off the brand new week and a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I know a lot of you are still talking about this. Northern New Mexico pummeled by hail yesterday. Naomi Montoya sent us this video of hail pounding the ground in Alcalde. Thick enough that it looked more like snow. That caused some problems on the roads. This is I-25 north of Santa Fe yesterday afternoon. Adriana Reyes Newell sent in this video, and our own Matt Grubb sent us these shots of police dealing with all of that. Wrecks along that same stretch of road. So what does this mean for today and the rest of the work week? Kristen Curry's in the Weather Center tracking all that. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. We still have showers and thunderstorms in today's forecast that could pack in some hail, but as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday, much better chances for rain and storms, and even the possibility of high mountain snow, actual snow and not the hail-covered roads. But you'll notice it's not happening this morning. Pretty quiet for your morning commute. Our temperatures are in the 30s and 40s up across the northern mountains. We have 50s and 60s scattered across central and southern areas, even some 40s hanging on along I-40 to the west. So light jacket to start the day this afternoon. We'll get back to those upper 70s and low 80s, but it's not going to be quite as warm as what we had over the weekend. We topped out in the 80s both Saturday and Sunday, and today marks day one of this week's cool down. It gets a lot cooler as we get into Wednesday, but the spotty showers continue up to the north today. Midweek looking pretty active with the showers, the thunderstorms, and the snow showers up in the mountains. And like I said, don't get used to those warm temperatures because we're in for a big shock come Wednesday. So details and a look at your full forecast coming up here in about 10 minutes.
Thanks so much, Kristen. And we turn now to some breaking overnight news. A man is at UNM Hospital this morning after Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies say he was shot overnight. The man was shot just after midnight in southwest Albuquerque on Gun Club and Carroll. That's just west of Coors. Deputies say he was shot at least once in his chest. Investigators still on scene this morning, investigating exactly what led to this. No word if the shots rang out in that neighborhood or if he was shot somewhere else. We're still working to get details. We'll have more coming up throughout the morning.
Meantime, new this morning, the Albuquerque City Council is expected to vote on a measure tonight that could appear on the November ballot. It would provide candidates for mayor who qualify for public financing more of your tax dollars to run their campaign. Right now, candidates who opt in get about $360,000. That's if they first get about 3,500 voters to donate at least $5 each. This proposal would raise the amount to just over $600,000. City Councilor Pat Davis says that helps to level the playing field.
It's being sure that candidates who want to be responsive to the people have a process for doing that. And for candidates who choose the old-fashioned way of still collecting signatures and contributions from city vendors and corporate interest, they have a right to do that too. And what we've seen in the past is there's a mix of candidates and voters get to decide.
According to the city, 2 of the 3 candidates for mayor in the last election in 2013 were publicly financed. Mayor Barry funded his last campaign privately. If approved tonight by city council members, you will have the opportunity to vote on the measure this fall.
Also happening tonight, councilors are expected to vote on a resolution to increase solar power usage for the city. The legislation is sponsored by Pat Davis and Ike Benton. It would set a goal for 25% of electricity used by the city to come from solar energy by 2025.
Breaking overnight, Albuquerque firefighters are investigating a possible fire bug in the southwest part of the city.
EFD was called out to 2 locations just blocks from each other, both involving dumpster fires feet away from homes. Take a look at that. Crews are busy battling one dumpster fire when they got a call on this one near Wyoming and Central around 3:30 this morning. As our crew arrived, firefighters were clearing the area. Luckily, no one was injured in this, but AFD again still investigating. We made several calls this morning. We'll continue to gather more information as the latest does come into our newsroom. We'll give it to you on air and through our KRQE News app.
Time now 6:35. 2 people are recovering this morning after a deadly motorcycle crash south of Tijeras. Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputies say it happened at about 4 Saturday afternoon on Highway 337 near Forest Road 462. Deputies say 25-year-old Martin Portillo Rutherford was speeding when he lost control on a sharp turn. That's when he crossed into oncoming traffic, sideswiping an SUV. Authorities say he was pronounced dead on scene. People living in the area say it is common to see motorcyclists speeding in the area.
Some of them are doing good, some of them are speeding. I've seen them do wheelies at 70 miles an hour. I've seen them come through here at 90 miles an hour.
Portillo Rutherford's passenger and another motorcyclist were taken to the hospital. They are expected to be okay.
Still no word this morning on what caused a crash near Central and Trisco yesterday morning. A truck wound up wrapped around a tree near the Burlington Coat Factory. Take a look at your TV screens here. We're still working to figure out if anyone was found inside when officers arrived and what their condition might be.
Developing this morning, we're learning more about a hiker found dead in northern New Mexico. State police say the body of Stephen Olshansky was found yesterday at the Lower Lagunitas campground. That's in the Carson National Forest, east of Chama. Investigators say it looks like Olshansky may have died of exposure. He had been missing since mid-November last year.
On to this developing story. A management shakeup could be coming soon to Sandia National Labs. The $2.9 billion contract to manage the facility is up for bidding for the first time in 2 decades. The National Nuclear Security Administration is expected to issue a final request for proposals this month. The current plan has April 2017 as the contract deadline. Longtime lab operator Lockheed Martin has indicated interest once again.
We're just weeks away from summer this morning, and APD is planning a crackdown on drag racing right now. The department is starting up a drag racing prevention operation. Police say it'll target problem areas in the valley, foothills, and northeast parts of town while kids are out of school, using resources on the ground and in the air. APD says there will be a zero-tolerance enforcement policy in effect.
On to news happening now. Federal investigators are trying to determine if weather played a role in a bus crash that killed 8 in Texas. It happened in Laredo when the bus suddenly rolled onto its side while heading to a casino on Saturday. The bus company connected to the crash had reportedly been ordered to fix brake issues in one of its buses last year. No word yet on if that played a role.
As you wake up today, the search for a missing Carnival cruise passenger has been suspended. According to the U.S. Coast Guard, on Friday, 33-year-old Samantha Broberg fell overboard off the 10th deck. Video shows her sitting on a deck railing, and then they say she fell backwards into the water. At that time, the Carnival Liberty was southeast of Galveston, Texas, on a 4-day cruise of Mexico. Crews spent 20 hours searching an area of more than 4,300 square miles before suspending efforts last night.
On to news happening now. Residents in Texas are recovering from a weekend of heavy rain as they prepare for more rain throughout the rest of the week. Video from Corpus Christi shows drivers getting stuck in flash floods that were issued just last night. The floodwaters trapped several drivers in their cars. The city says it had to make several high water rescues. Residents are now bracing for more rounds of rain. It's expected to come this week.
As we start this week, police in Houston are searching for 2 drivers after road rage spilled out onto the streets. A teenage girl recorded this cell phone video as she and her father passed by what happened early Saturday morning. The witnesses say the brawl broke out when one car wouldn't let the other one pass, and then they say the passenger in one car threw a drink. Things escalated from there. Eventually, it looked like it was going to calm down, but the truck driver wasn't finished. Before they all left, that person slammed into the white car, rear-ended them there, and then took off. The driver of that car followed. No reports of any serious injuries in all of this, but still dangerous.
I cannot believe how it escalated so quickly.
It really did. Yeah, not good out there.